Kogi Central District Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has gone before the Court of Appeal to pray that the justices there overturn the entire decision of Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court, which on the 4th of July 2025 found her guilty of flouting her orders which barred parties before her from speaking with the media in respect of any subject matter before the court. That judgment, it must be said, was also instrumental to restoring Senator Natasha to her seat in the upper chamber of the National Assembly. She has formally challenged the 5 million naira fine imposed on her by the Abuja Federal High Court for alleged contempt. For a bit of mind-rubbing on that, we're now being joined by Kenny Okolugbo, a consultant on communications and strategy for Senate President Godswill Akpabio. If I'm not mistaken, yes. Good to have you join us on the morning show, Kenny. Lovely to have you. I believe
having me. It's actually Okolugbo.
Okolugbo, exactly.
Yes,
Thank you so much for correcting me on that.
No, it's all right. That's fine.
Absolutely. So
yes.
Getting into this conversation, there's been a lot of back and forth as to whether or not, specifically with regard to that judgment, following the certified true copy of that judgment coming out, Senator Natasha basically saying that, first of all, she did not err on the side of the court with regards to the contempt that she was fined with 5 million naira for with regards to that Facebook post. And then secondly, there's also a lot of conversation around whether or not it was a clear statement for her to be recalled, or the judge simply suggesting that, listen, we're not trying to interfere with legislative processes, but we would suggest that she should be recalled following her apology and subsequent fine. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, if you notice, we didn't have any reactions to this until the certified true copy came out. Mm-hmm. Why we did that was that it was deliberate. It was deliberate because it was a strategy for people to understand that we didn't want to interfere with the process of the court. Senator Yemi Adaramodu is a spokesperson of the Senate. He issued a very strong statement and said that the Senate was going to study the certified true copy, and after studying the certified true copy, they will come up with a position. And if you look at it, yesterday, Friday was on the 11th. That was the only when the certified true copy of the judgment did come out. And just like it was rightly said by those who were in the court, it was an Obiter Dictum. An Obiter Dictum is an opinion that is given by a judge. It's not binding. It's not a ratio decidendi. And there are a lot of authorities in Gumbi versus the state in 1999, the Supreme Court clearly said that an Obiter Dictum is just an opinion. It's not enforceable. And, there are two things that were being challenged. The Senate was challenging the jurisdiction of that court because it wasn't only the Senate she sued. She sued the Senate. She sued the Senate president. And she also sued the ethics, privileges, and privileges and public petition committee. And you see, why she went to court was first to protect her fundamental human rights. She said she was not being heard. And that was what was in her originating summon. The court cannot give you what you did not ask for. She did not ask for her suspension. It was during the pendency of the suit. She was suspended. And don't forget that case was before Justice Egwatu, who recused himself before Justice Binta Nyako took over the suit. Why it is within her right to appeal the issue of contempt, and that is very true. Why is she not even waiting for the Senate to study the CTC and come up with their own position? How is she sure the Senate is not going to cross-appeal, just like she has appealed? You don't cherry-pick the aspects you're going to appeal, and you say you want an Obiter Dictum to be enforced. Yeah, it's never done in law.
Yeah, but Kenny,
yes.
Have you, as the Senate, formally received a letter, the letter that she wrote on the 11th, asking to resume on the 15th?
That is going to definitely be addressed by the Senate spokesman, Senator Yemi Adaramodu. And that's why it's strange when, it's as if people just want trending news, content to run, suddenly going on. First, she didn't even wait to see the CTC. She said she was going to resume last Tuesday. Now she has seen the CTC. Her lawyers have now written to say she's resuming on Tuesday. She's not going to be able to resume on Tuesday. There's a process. Even if, assuming without conceding, it was a ratio decidendi, where it was binding, there is still a process. The Senate will have to receive it through the clerk of the National Assembly, who will now send to the Senate leadership. The Senate leadership will evaluate, take a decision, and alert the sergeant at arms. It's a process. It's not.
It's not even. You're saying that can be done.
That is assuming
11th and Monday.
It cannot even be done because it is not enforceable. The judgment that was given is not an enforceable judgment. It's an Obiter Dictum. That's what I just said.
But I know
have you read you've read it? You know what I like about you, Steve, you're a veteran journalist. You have read it and you understand English. Mm-hmm. You know that is an opinion. That is not enforceable. Now, if I were her, I would have filed a fresh case, knowing that when I took that case to court, I took that case to court to protect my being referred to the Ethics and Privileges and Public Petitions Committee. And that has been taken over by events because now I have been suspended. I couldn't stop the process because there are pretorial authorities that says the Senate, you cannot stop. And there's separation of power. And that was why you see that Justice Binta Nyako was very careful. Remember in Ndume's case, Ndume was suspended. And Ndume's case was that, look, you can't suspend me for 90 days, Senator Ndume, distinguished senator representing Borno State. And the appeal court said, no, you can be disciplined. But that case did not get to Supreme Court. Again, in Omar Agege's case, Justice Dingba was angry. He said, look, you cannot suspend somebody because he went to court. It wasn't about the rules of the Senate. That was what applied to Justice Omar Agege. And the Senate did not also appeal that. So you see, you don't have any authority she can hold on to in an Obiter Dictum. And that's just the absolute truth. So there's just no way we can let's not try to confuse ourselves. What she has been told to do was an apology. And she says she doesn't want to apologize. And if you look at it, let me just digress a bit. When this issue happened on the 20th of February, they asked her to apologize. If it had happened in an executive session, nobody would have realized that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan was that unruly, sorry to say. But because it did not happen in an executive session, we were able to see firsthand her actions for that day. Would she say, looking at that video, she was proud of what she did? She was just gesticulating, pointing fingers at the leadership, said a whole lot.
Can I just ask, is it the first time this sort of unruliness is occurring in the national?
It's definitely not the first time.
So why is it like a
Okay, take for example, Senator Godswill Akpabio, when he went in the 8th Senate, he protested that he wasn't happy with his microphone and he was sitting in a seat that wasn't his position.
Yes.
Of course, Senator Saraki didn't recognize him.
Yes.
You also saw the way he reacted.
Was that an unruly session?
You saw how he reacted.
Was it an unruly session?
Because he wasn't insultive. I will not describe it as unruly. It was rowdy.
What was the insult that Natasha meted on?
Oh, he said he would tell Nigerians if she was pointing at the Senate
the
president.
Insult, you said.
Oh, she would tell Nigerians how this man has treated him.
Well, that's not an insult.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But let's not even go into those details now.
Just to clarify the statement about her being unruly.
No, she wasn't. You saw it. But you saw that Senator Akpabio apologized immediately.
All right.
His attention was drawn to the rules. What does it take?
So will you let me ask
He did apologize.
Kenny? Will you let me ask my question?
Okay, yes, I'm waiting.
Well, let us talk about this apology, right? Because this has been bandied around whether I'm supposed to go to the apologize to the court or the Senate. The Senate has asked her to apologize even after that judgment, which you have called an opinion judgment. You know that she has appealed, right? She has gone on appeal, and then she said that the satirical apology is unrelated to the judicial proceedings because the satirical apology that she had written related to the sexual harassment allegation. It had nothing to do with her, suspension or the ethics committee proceedings that was filed earlier. That's her stance on that. I'd also like to know why she was removed. Because, I believe it was on Thursday, the president of the Senate had removed her from the chairmanship of the Senate Committee on Diaspora, a non-governmental organization. She was replaced with another senator from Akwa Ibom. I'd like to know, please, why was she removed?
Okay, you've asked two questions. First of all, on the issue of apology, you remember when Senator Yemi Adaramodu laid the case before the Senate? It was because she had gone to Brekete. She had taken the issues of the Senate outside the floor of the Senate. And interestingly, that same Brekete even recommended that she apologizes when Senator Nweboyi went before them. And this issue of apology has been hovering on because, when she was suspended, people said the Senate president even rigged prayer 2, which said she was to be given an opportunity to apologize. There was the nays they said were more than years, but because maybe he wanted to give her a window of opportunity, he allowed Priya 2 to go in. And that window of opportunity was there all along. And now what she has said is that the motion that was filed by the Senate President on the 7th of May was to draw the attention of Justice Binta Nyako that the order you gave on the 4th of April was violated by Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan on the 27th when she wrote that satirical apology, which was meant to bring Senator Godswill Akpabio into public opprobrium, disrepute. And reading the contents of that satirical letter, she clearly violated the principles of the order that was given by Justice Binta Nyako. Don't forget that we might not go into the details now because what she has done is that she has only filed a notice of appeal. She has not really appealed. Now, in her notice of appeal, she's saying that it should have been criminal in nature. Another judge should have been able to handle it, and that she should have been served from 48 and sent from 49. She's all within her right to do that. So why the question is she aware that the Senate could cross-appeal everything, including even the jurisdiction of Justice Binta Nyako, in delving into the issues of separation of power between the executive and the legislature and the judiciary? She hasn't even waited for that. Then you get your lawyers to write a letter to the Senate asking to resume on Tuesday. These measures are just calculated to just cause unnecessary. We shouldn't be discussing that issue here now. We should rather be waiting for the Senate to respond to the certified true copy. We all learned, we've read the certified true copy. And that is the same reason you had the argument with you when you were on trend in Rufai Hussaini and I was being educated by Dr. Ruben Abati on the issue of the apology. The apology is not to the court alone. What the Senate President asked was that she should delete her Facebook page, apologize to him, and apologize to the court. And she
delete her
Facebook page post of the satirical apology. And that was what the court expected of her. You don't apologize on the air. And I was disappointed that he argued that aspect with Dr. Ruben Abati. And the truth about it is that that apology was supposed to be to Senator Godswill Akpabio and also to the court.
From what we got from the judgment, the opinion judgment,
yes,
it appears that the apology is to the court.
You don't apologize to the air. You must refer to the satirical.
Yes.
You must refer to the satirical post which you have made.
Right.
But besides that, she has appealed. She should allow the Senate take their own decision if they're going to cross appeal.
What do you think?
She's a lawyer.
What do you think the Senate's decision will be?
Well, I wouldn't know what the Senate's I wouldn't know what the Senate's decision will be because Senator Adaramodu will be making clear his position. I only just honored this invitation because I wanted to set the grounds very clear that the Senate is not in violation of any rules, and the Senate President has been very much within the law as regards this issue since it has dragged on, and most importantly, since the 20th of February when Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan made a sexual allegation harassment against the Senate President, it's been over 4 months. He who alleges must prove. She hasn't still brought one iota of evidence. And she has gone from there to saying that she was to be killed in Kogi and not to be killed in Abuja. She has gone from there to say that the Senate President has told her to shake down the ministers to report progress. She has gone from there to allege, even in the Arise Morning Forum, because you have this Arise Morning Forum, that the Senate President was guilty of organ harvesting. She has even alleged on the Senators Forum that the Senate President was guilty of organ harvesting. We are all educated. We know you cannot take somebody's organ and fly abroad when the person is dead. So she has taken it. What I'm trying to say is that she's taking it from one thing to the other. People that really like Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan should tell her to do an introspect at this point in time, especially with that judgment. If I should not
You haven't answered
apologize.
my question as to why she was removed.
Well, why she was removed, it is a prerogative of the Senate President. It's just like the President of Nigeria. It's his prerogative to remove any committee chairman in conjunction with the leadership of the Senate.
Well, what has
Nobody
the Senate
questions.
President said to you?
He doesn't have to. He doesn't owe anybody any
The Senate President doesn't
reason
owe
to.
anyone
Yes,
any
yes.
explanation for
Doesn't
her
owe anybody any
removal.
explanation. But don't forget that she has not been in the Senate for about 4 months.
Yes, she
And
has.
so,
And so now
somebody,
she has no position.
somebody has to also take charge of the Diaspora Committee and the NGO.
And you think that's fair, that she's not been around for 4 months?
Because she has refused to apologize.
That makes
To
it
the
right.
Senate President.
That makes it very right.